Here you go, Mayra. I have a little something for you here. This is from your campaign manager, Laura Canteri. Laura Canteri is from outside Cleveland, Ohio, in Menor, Ohio, and there is a very special place. Why don't you open that for us?
I'm like nervous. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, don't thank me. I'm just giving you the gift.
Thank you, Laura.
This is from Laura.
Yes.
So there's a place called Mally's in Ohio, in Menor, Ohio, and they make this stuff called these cookies called Mallios.
Yes.
They're like fudge. I believe they're like fudge covered Oreos. Oh wow, she's opening them all the way up. This is insane.
No, am I not supposed
No,
to?
hey, you know we got to see what you got.
I mean,
These are supposedly, yeah. Look at what we got here.
Chocolate covered.
Basically chocolate covered Oreos.
Right, I'm gonna have one bite.
All right,
just
one bite, just
before-
one. Oh my God,
That's
that looks awesome. See, now doesn't this feel a lot more pleasant? Imagine
No.
someone gave you cookies before every one of your interviews. I think you'd want to do a lot more interviews. I'll take that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hey,
So,
don't let any.
hello there.
Hi.
Now, you are the owner and co-owner of CrossFit Delray Beach. You're also a coach at CrossFit Delray Beach in Delray Beach, Florida here.
Yes.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the beginning of August and your experience at the CrossFit Games, specifically the lead up to it and, prior to the games. We can get a little bit more into all the events and that kind of stuff, but how was the lead up to the event? How did your training go? What were your thoughts going into it?
Well, the week before the games, I thought training went really well. I don't know, Coach. What do you think?
It's not for me to
What?
determine. How does everybody know I'm your coach?
Yeah, this is Sean. He's my coach. No, I felt good going into the games. I thought training went well. My body felt good. And I think that's number one, confidence-wise, is if your body feels good, you'll feel good going into it. So I felt really good going into the games.
Balance-wise between training and lifestyle and all the recovery practices, everything seemed to line up nicely for you?
It did. I mean, again, going to the games, it's nice because all I have to concentrate on is CrossFit. So leading up to it was a little hectic because you have to manage both gyms and make sure, every the schedules and payroll and everything's kind of lined up, ready to go. To be gone for a week, because we were gone for a week. At home, making sure the kids are taken care of. It was also, when we got back, they had to go into school. It was back to school time, so we did a little school shopping, and you had to get them ready to go right into school.
How many other competitors do you think going into it were doing something similar in terms of, don't worry, I have that effect on many people. If we're doing something similar in terms of juggling two gyms and then also with a family with two kids, how many other competitors?
At the time, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Now, afterwards, I know there was, a good handful that had children and a good handful that are teachers, firefighters, but for the most part, I mean, not too many. I don't think too many.
Yeah. For those who are out there now, because I think we have touched upon this before, there's a lot of athletes who are female athletes who are in that 20 to 30 range, maybe even in their early 30s, who are like, I love training, I love the fitness lifestyle, but I don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
What is your advice to them when it comes to balancing their fitness and potentially becoming a mother?
I say have the babies. I say anyone who asks, there have been a couple of people who ask me about that, and you can do fitness through children. You can do fitness through owning a business. You can do fitness through career. You can do it through anything. So I say yes, have those babies. You just make it work. You figure it out, and it can be done.
Now, I think one of the things that you did fairly well through this whole process was managing expectations. When you started doing CrossFit and you were kind of like that 2 to 3 years out of having your first kid, I think you were actually, your kids were about 4 and 6 at the time when you started?
No, when I first started, Layla was, no, she was only like 2.
Oh, wow.
3, no, maybe 3. When
Wow.
did I start? I started, hold on.
So this is 2011, I believe you started probably
I
CrossFit,
started
right?
2011, she was 2. She was born in 2009.
Wow. So from having your second child,
Yep.
fast forward 5 years later,
Yep.
how did you do at the games this year?
I did great. I got 5th place.
5th place. 5th place out of the in what
In
age
the
group?
Masters 35 to 39 division.
Wow. All right. So this must have been a bunch of chumps in this age group probably then, right?
No, they were really. It was a tough group.
Yeah.
It was fierce.
I don't want to flatter you, but you had former games champion Kristen Clever. You
Yep.
had Becca Voigt, who is
Yep.
who has a multiple appearances at the CrossFit Games.
Yep.
She also placed 3rd at the CrossFit Games,
Yep.
alongside Kristen Clever one
Yep.
year. Bumping elbows with all these, legends of the CrossFit game. How did that feel?
It was pretty surreal. I mean, I've known these girls just from like TV, but it was pretty surreal to be next to
Did
them.
you geek out at all? Did you, were you a
I'm-
fangirl or what?
I'm like awkward social girl, so I just kind of stood there, and if they spoke to me, then I obviously talked. But
Yeah. Yeah. Bumping elbows alongside the greats of the game. At what point did it hit you that you're like, oh my God, I'm at the CrossFit Games?
well, when we were going down the escalator in the airport,
wow, okay.
so there was this huge, advertisements everywhere. And so when we flew into the airport,
Yeah.
we were going down that little escalator, and there it was.
So keeping everybody informed about this, we flew into Madison, and as
Yeah.
you get off the flight and you go down the escalator, it said "Fittest on Earth"
Yeah.
with Matt Fraser there. And believe it or not, the Madison is the fittest city in America. By whose standards, I'm not sure, but that was the whole appeal to this thing. And going down the escalator, you see this. How did it feel? Like, what was your thoughts?
It was, again, the whole experience has been surreal. I feel like it's all way bigger than I am. So to kind of look at those advertisements and know that you're going to be a part of it is really cool.
Let's talk about the swag. You're wearing a little bit of your swag now. You now got like pretty much a new wardrobe
Yeah.
from the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
How was the whole swag experience, specifically the commentator during the swag experience?
That was fun. I will say, doing that for our gym, for everybody back home, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that experience, they made it really fun. I mean, they made it really special. Because it's all about you. The one person comes in and she's showing you every single piece. That's one by one. Your name is on everything. Your number's on everything. And yeah, it felt pretty cool. It made me feel special.
The first day that you got there, actually to the venue, and you saw what was gonna kind of unfold in front of you, you saw the hundreds of athletes that were gonna be there for the Masters, right? How was it, outside of just competing? How is the Masters community? How is it relative also to the other competitions that you've done before, specifically the CrossFit Games?
Well, I will say, to kind of go back a second,
Yeah.
the first day wasn't the best. It was not.
Why don't you?
It was not what I expected.
I explain.
So when we got there to check in and sign in, the process just took a really, really long time. So, you check in, and then we're waiting in this really long line. And I've never been there, so I don't know what I'm really waiting for. So we waited, maybe like an hour and a half? I don't know what it was. Waited an hour and a half to just put our name on a piece of paper for them to call us later to go into the swag. So, which was like another hour to wait or so. So there was a lot of waiting. There was a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety, and it was just a lot of standing around and waiting. So the experience of getting the swag was really, really awesome. But when you don't know what to expect, it's kind of it was exhausting.
Now, you're sitting in line for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and then you have a wait, and then you get your swag and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Were you planning on doing anything else that day?
Yeah, we planned on doing a lot, but we really spent most of the day waiting, standing. So it throws off your day, it throws off your schedule. The next day was kind of the same thing, and it was the first competition day. So we had done that video of when we were going to eat, right? Remember that? That was a fun video too. When we were going to eat, and when we were going to compete, and when we were going to rest, and when we were, you know, we had this whole schedule, and it gets completely thrown off by what we had to do, you know, by the CrossFit Games. So that was it was tough. Actually, that was the first 2 days.
So you have a plan, complete monkey wrench thrown into it. What's your reaction? What's your mindset? What do you do?
Well,
do you just huddle up into a ball and just be like, oh my God, I'm at the CrossFit Games, just wake me up when it's over? What happened?
After that second day, where you can either, I don't know, kind of take it as a negative. It was after that second day, I was like, okay, this is just how it's going to be. So you just prepare for the way it is. So I think we were just a lot more prepared going into day, 3, 4, because we just knew what to expect. Again, I think it was just, we didn't know what to expect. Our schedule definitely got a little messed up, but you adjust, and this is how it's going to be, so we'll roll with it.
What allowed you to be able to just change gears like that? A lot of people were probably freaking out.
Yeah.
All up in arms. Who do I blame about this? What about your training or background allowed you to basically take this in stride and continue forward?
Well, life is kind of like that. I don't know. I feel like every day is like that, or every business or kids or whatever. It's definitely not as you always schedule it.
So do you think in some ways your chaotic lifestyle prepared you for the CrossFit Games?
Yeah.
Wow, that's for those of you out there who are looking to master the art of being a elite CrossFitter, have 2 gyms, 2 kids, crazy coach. So now let's kind of get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty of the events and that kind of stuff. I know you're probably pretty excited to talk about some of these events and other ones you wish you can actually forget.
Yeah.
Let's just go right away. What was the event that hurt the most?
Which event hurt the most? Definitely the vest, running. I mean, that was Saturday, so that was day 3. So day 3, we knew Saturday was going to be a hard day. We knew the vest was going to be a hard workout, but that definitely was hardest.
So what was your plan going into that workout?
We were trying to push, so it was a run, air squats, and burpee over the box, a 30-inch box. And we were trying to go hard on the run, or not hard, but we were trying to push it on the run, and then, just kind of get through the air squats and the burpees. But it just got hard for me, really hard.
It got hard quick for you?
It got hard quick, and I tried on round 3. I wasn't going to go any faster.
All right, so
just trying. Wait, so then I have to say, at the end, I mean, I guess my goal for the games was I was kind of obsessed about the time caps, right?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to finish every workout. I thought it'd be cool to finish because in the open and
the online
I don't know, the
qualifier.
online qualifier, there's always been at least one workout where I didn't finish under the time cap. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to finish every workout. So this was the one where I kind of pushed it a little bit, and I remember thinking in this workout, like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like that was the hard part. And then on that last round, I was on my air squats, so I had to do 24 air squats and then 12 more burpee box jumps, and then I'm done. It's over. But the announcer, I heard him say, athletes, you have 1 minute, and he kind of dragged that minute, and I was, I don't know, in the middle of my air squats, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna finish this workout. I don't know if I can finish the air squats and do the 12 burpee box jumps in under a minute. But then he said 1 minute and 45 seconds, and so I was like, oh, hallelujah. So it actually tried to go a little tiny bit faster at the very end.
So does that kind of give you a little bit of a does it open your eyes a little bit in terms of how hard you can go based upon the motivation that you have? Like when you're kind of dejected and going through a workout, you're like, I know I'm going to be finishing last or this or close to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get that little bit of like a, little victories, these tiny
Yes,
victories in the
right.
workout. It gives you a little
Yeah.
extra motivation.
That was the tiny motivation there. And when I finished, I wasn't really, I knew I was there weren't very many people out in the field with me anymore, which was fine. But I remember finishing, and you kind of rip off the weight vest. And I just remember thinking like, yeah, I still need to work on my burpees and my running. Like that was the mentality was, yep, still got to work on it. And then
yeah. And then once that workout's over, what do you do? Do you go into a corner and you cry?
No,
do you just drink a beer? What do you do?
Actually, again, I felt very like, yep, that's just, I just still have to work on it.
Pretty much accepted it.
Oh yeah, I definitely accepted it. I wasn't upset afterwards because again, I knew it was gonna be tough for me, and it was very tough. I wasn't happy in the middle of it. That I felt, very. I felt like I couldn't push anymore. I didn't like that, mid workout. And then again, at the end, it was just simply, I still need to work on A, B, and C, and all right, we'll do it. That's it.
The turnaround isn't very long between workouts.
No.
In the past, have you had these type of workouts in other competitions where you then had to kind of turn around? Like, what was your mindset then versus what it was at the games? Did you feel a change in the ability to kind of turn around quickly based upon where you have been before? Were you more prepared, less prepared this time around? Or
I felt prepared with that. Actually, earlier in the week when we were talking about it being not what we expected, and I just felt like it was the CrossFit Games, so it was again this big, huge thing. And once you kind of came down to reality, it's just another competition.
It's just 19 other women.
It's another competition.
Yeah.
So no, I do feel like I'm prepared to turn around. I'll do it. We practice it here in the gym. I've done competitions like it before.
Okay, so that was the most painful workout for you.
Yeah.
What was the most fun you had in a workout at the games? So you had a bunch of events.
Yeah.
Some of them hurt. Some of them were awesome.
Yeah.
What was your favorite
The
event?
obstacle course was my favorite.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the obstacle course.
Okay, so the obstacle course was, I got second place by less than a
few
second.
tenths of a second.
Few
In
tenths
terms
of
of
a second.
first.
Yes.
Yes, you almost got first, and you lost by
Almost.
3/10 of a second.
Exactly. And everybody, we were so worried about this one swing portion on the obstacle course, which I was as well.
Tell me about what it looked like in the warm-up area
So
with this whole swing apparatus.
So there was ropes in the warm-up area. So people were like stacking boxes to about the height of where that little beam would go, and they were practicing from box to box, high to low, low to high. So everybody was practicing backstage. Everybody was worried about it. Everybody. So that was the hardest part of the obstacle course, was that little swing thing.
Yeah. Do you think people got psyched out from it? Do you think that
You
people
could've.
literally were that unathletic? What's the deal? These are
No,
the fittest
you
women on earth.
No, you could have. It was just one of those things. If you just didn't get the swing quite right, you're just gonna lose balance.
So technicality-wise, there was some legitimacy toward the worrying that people had about
Yeah,
it.
I think so. I mean, again, it's if you completely kind of dwell on it, then you're gonna just add more, tension, anxiety, and to it. But I don't know. When I went out there, that part was not. It wasn't even an issue.
Do you think your training background in gymnastics and cheer prepared you for something like that?
Yeah.
Had you done anything like that before?
I mean, I like to think my son is like half ninja. No, but I will say, when I was standing there and it's like 3, 2, 1, go, I was looking at one portion, like because the cargo net was
Yep.
first, and I was looking at just one line. Like, this is my line. I'm gonna go up there, zoop, and come right back down. So I was very focused. I feel like I was very focused. And I remember every single part of that obstacle course. So I had a full-blown conversation in my head before the rope swings, and which was like, actually watching the video now, I'm like, darn it, I waited too long because I wanted to. The plan was to just go on every rope.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I'm like, oh, the second rope is like right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
the third rope is right there. I'm like, I could jump to there. So I ended up jumping to the second rope to go for that part. And then, so the girl who won was right next to me.
Yeah.
So it was so fun. I mean, I could feel the excitement from her too. Like we were both just right there next to each other. So we go under the rope, and then we get the last little cargo, or the ladder. And we were just like, I don't know, just neck and neck. It was really, really, I mean, it was fun. I mean, I didn't win, but it was still fun.
It was the most fun you had that
It
week.
was so much fun. And I remember hitting the little buzzer thing, or not the buzzer, that's Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ninja Warrior or the show Guts. You go up the aggro crag.
I felt like I was on Ninja Warrior. Yeah. Hitting there and eventually looking over at Joey, and we were just like laughing and just like,
Yeah,
that
had
was
fun.
so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that was the most fun you had
Yeah.
throughout the weekend. What was your best performance of all the workouts?
I will say that I guess I'm proud of the muscle up workout, the snatch and double under workout, and even Diane.
Why do you say that?
Well, okay, so this competition, I learned so much. Most of the time, either in training or even other competitions, I'm within myself and I just focus on myself. Where this one, the competition was so tough that you have to not only focus within yourself, you have to kind of watch and see what else is going on around you. I'm definitely not used to that.
So do you think that the competition around you pulls you out of yourself, and you think the pace that you're going is like, oh, this is as hard as I can go?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you look left and right and you're like, oh, I can go faster.
Yes,
Is that
yes,
kind of the deal?
Yes, or you need to go faster.
Ah.
That's it, you need to go faster. And I'm a slow and steady type of girl.
So they pulled you out of your comfort zone a little bit?
I am a major slow and steady type of
Yeah.
girl. So the snatch workout, because we had practiced it here, and I remember us talking and figuring out what we were going to do, and then you and Chris were like, you have to go unbroken. And I remember thinking in my head, like, that's impossible, I can't go unbroken. And we practiced it, and I did, and it was good. But then you get into competition and you're like a little sore, and then your little doubts kind of creep up and I just was like, okay, so now I have to go unbroken, but you have to do it faster. So I felt like I did that. Diane's the same way. It was one of those workouts where you just had to go fast. That's it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Unless you were getting no reps, it's full throttle, and I'm not used to that at all. So for me, I felt like I went really fast.
Yeah. You're just there in your canoe and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm going! And then all of a sudden you're like, everyone's in front of me.
Yes.
I'm not losing, but...
Yeah, no, but for me, I think I was proud of that. Obviously I didn't win that or I was anywhere near the top, but I definitit went a lot faster than I was comfortable with. And I did it. I mean, I completed it, and it surprised me, but you can do that. I mean, I can do that.
So you set a goal to do something, and you didn't even surpass it a little bit.
Yeah,
on
I mean,
these
it
events.
was, and there was the mentality. It was the mentality going in, because that was the last day. It was the mentality going of you have to go fast. You can do it. You can do. This was where it was like you can do everything unbroken. There wasn't. I don't think we had a doubt that I couldn't do it unbroken. It was just a matter of pushing through as fast as I could do it. And again, for me, I think I was proud of what I did.
So at the end of the weekend, you finished fifth. There was a good chunk of the weekend where you were sitting in first or second, right?
Yeah.
So you finished fifth. It's not the most awesome thing to recall, but when you kind of walk off the floor, you don't have the best result from the workouts. I mean, the workouts you did themselves, you gave it your all. You really couldn't have done anything different. That in itself, you're probably okay with, but the results of finishing fifth, what was your thoughts like at the time, and then what did it turn into as the time progressed?
Okay,
I want you to be completely honest.
I know. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
I don't even think you know this. So.
This is why we're doing the interview.
I know.
We got to get the real information.
This is what I was afraid of. Okay, so the last workout was Diane, right? And we just talked about that. We rested 2 minutes, and then we went right into the very last workout. So we rested the 2 minutes, and I was standing there, and it was a rope climb. Started with 6 rope climbs, and then 30 thrusters, and that was it. So I'm standing there, and I see you guys, right? My crew right there, and they call the 1 minute. I started smiling because I was like, I can't believe this is it. This is the last workout.
Yeah.
Like, it's all over. And then I was looking at them, and I was like, okay, you got to do this. You got to do this. Like, do it for them. Do it for them. And I was like, just looking at you guys the whole time. The whole last maybe, it felt like a year, but it was 10 seconds. The workout goes, and I don't even know what place I got, but it wasn't the top. I don't even think it was top 10. And so I finished, and I remember thinking, like, okay, I get it now. I get it. There's only so much you can do doing it for other people. Like, now is when you have to do it for yourself. And that was it. Like, I get it. And I was fine. So they took us backstage, and I knew I wasn't the top. I knew I definitely wasn't first or second. I thought maybe just fourth, like maybe I just just got off the podium. But I just remember thinking that, I don't know, I felt calm, I felt fine. And just knowing what I have to do now, moving forward. We went backstage, and they kind of kept us all together, and because they said as soon as the scores are tabulated, we're going to announce who the top 3 are, and then the top 3 stay. And for the awards and everyone else, it was pretty much everyone else.
Good luck next year.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So we waited up. Maybe 5 minutes we waited. So they announced, we were all just sitting there, and they said 3rd place, Becca, 2nd place, Joey, 1st place, Stephanie. And, everybody was so happy for it was great. It felt really great. And then, and that was it. That was it. Yeah. So they did show us, they said if you want to know what place you got, you can see it on a sheet, and I just glanced over and saw it was 5th place.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, at the time, 5th place, right after you're done with, are you happy with that at the time?
At the time I looked, and I was a little, not upset, but I was a little upset that I didn't, that I kind of lost, I got off
Fell
the
off.
podium, I fell off the podium.
Yeah.
But obviously with the performance, I knew it wasn't, the top 3.
It was,
so.
you saw that the performance that you gave wasn't good enough to be on the podium.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially on those last
that.
2 workouts.
Yeah, I knew that because
Yeah.
it came down to it could have been
Yeah.
anyone in the top
6
10.
or 7.
Yeah. I knew I didn't do good enough to kind of keep the lead, or I think I was in 2nd at the time. But as you go back and get your stuff, and you kind of let it sink in, I kind of think, like, if I saw my name 5th place on the Open in our region, even if I saw 5th place in the Masters, the online qualifier, I would have been like, speechless. It would be amazing. So to, just kind of skip all that and be 5th place at the games, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, obviously at the time, so you're saying is, there was a little bit of deflated feeling because you were riding high a lot of the weekend, but when you look at it from the body of work and where you started, this gal who is just doing this for fun, 5 years later, she's at the CrossFit Games, and she's bumping elbows with the best. She's sitting in 1st place for some of the weekend. She finishes 5th overall, and you're like, holy smokes, that's an amazing achievement.
Yes.
Now, it's a month later.
Yeah.
You had some time to kind of, it's less than a month later. We're a few weeks out. You had some time to soak it in. What is your thought going forward into this next year based upon the finish that you had at the end of the games?
Well, just to rewind for a second, being in the top 1 or 2 the whole, first 2 days or 3 days, it was just meant to be that way. because
Do you
all
think that was a
these
win?
people-
Do you think that was a win just to do that?
No, well, yes, I didn't. I knew we would do well the first, the obstacle course,
Yeah.
the snatch, that first day, or the first day and a half. We knew we would do well. Those were like my workouts. I didn't realize it would be that well, but we knew we would do well. But I just, it was just all meant to be that way because all these girls have done. They've done this. They've been there. I mean, they've been to the games like 5 times. They've been to regionals as an individual. They've all done this. I haven't. This was kind of like my first little rodeo here. But so they were all pretty known. I mean, well known. So simply because I was in the top 1 or 2, it was kind of nice because everybody at home got to watch me compete. Because if I wasn't in the top 2, I could tell you, the cameras wouldn't have been on me, and nobody would have seen. You have everybody at home who's like rooting for you, and it's tough because if they're not there, they don't get to watch. So the fact that I was in the top for a little while, it was just, I don't know, kind of puts a smile on my face because then everybody at home got to watch me compete. It didn't end that way, which is fine, but at least, people got to watch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Moving forward, we will go back to just like wrapping up the games, but like I just want to kind of hit on now that you've had the experience of the games, now that you kind of see where you're at, because when you're training alone most of the time, when you're doing these online qualifiers, when you're doing the open, you have no clue what the other athletes look like,
Right.
what they're actually capable of.
Yeah.
Now that you're in the same room as these ladies,
Yeah.
what does this do for your confidence? What does it do for your training methodology? What does it do for your philosophy as an athlete?
Well, I learned so much in 5 days, 6 days.
Tell us all now. No, I'm kidding.
I've learned so much in the 5 days. My mindset from the start to the finish, like literally the finish, like that buzzer at the very end is completely different. And so I just have to, take that moving forward. And again, just have a little more confidence in my abilities. Don't let that doubt kind of creep in. And even though, you're not training or competing with these people on a daily, monthly, basis, doesn't mean you're not on the right track. And, just have a little trust in the process and fully believe that I belong there.
So, what was the hardest you laughed the entire weekend?
The hardest I laughed. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Let's see. Oh, you put me on the spot here. The hardest I laughed.
Hardest you
I
laughed
laugh
the
a
entire
lot. I laugh a lot.
You had a lot of laughs throughout
I had
the
a
weekend.
lot of laughs.
Were there a lot?
Okay, yes, I do have.
Okay.
The most I laughed was Sunday night when it was all.
Do you
When
think
it
it was
was
just
all
an
over?
enormous dump of the pressure
Actually, it's a
and
little emotional.
tension?
I think I cried the most on Sunday night, and I laughed the most on Sunday night. Yeah, both things on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it just? I mean, was it the people there? I mean, you had a bunch of people who came up.
We
and
did. It
supported
was
you,
fun.
right?
It was nice to finally. You feel bad because I was obviously focused on the competition there. We had people come up to watch us, and every day you're there all day for the competition. Then you get back to the room, and all you want to do is just relax or ice or heat or whatever it is. So. I kind of feel there's that guilty feeling again.
Yeah.
You feel bad not hanging out with people who flew all this way just to watch you. Well, I mean, they watched other people too, but just to watch you.
Yeah.
And
Those other people don't count. Come on,
Yeah.
let's be serious. Who's Rich Browning? I have no idea who he is.
So it was nice to, it's finally nice to, when it's all over, for all of us to really hang out and have some fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you had tons of laughs throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
What was the most scared you were in the weekend?
Okay, so I almost died. I'm not kidding. I know I'm laughing, but I'm not kidding. Okay, so first workout is run, swim, run. And, oh man, this is like, we've been training this, right? We've
Yeah,
been
give a little
running.
backstory to
Well, I
this.
mean-
Had you ever swam in the open water before?
We at Wadapalooza, like all competition once.
Well, 3 weeks prior, did you do anything?
Yeah, so we've been training for this. I've been swimming, in the pool, and I just happened to. I had to go up to Orlando for a coaches conference, and so there's this lake swim that a bunch of triathletes do because my husband's a triathlete, so that's how I know about it. So I went up there. It's a 1K swim in a lake. So I was like, oh, it's perfect training, but oh my goodness, it's 1K. Like I'm gonna, it's gonna be bad. So I'm so nervous. I'm by myself, alone. I almost chickened out like 7 times. I was sitting in my car in the parking lot thinking like, what are you doing? Like, you're crazy. I can't believe you're gonna go through with this. Anyway, so I do that swim and it was fine. It was nice. I got through it.
You figured out how to put your swim cap on.
I did. Oh my gosh. So coach tells me you got to put your swim cap on. I'm like, I don't even know how to put a swim cap on. So anyways, a woman came up to me and said, hey, can you help me put, it was weird. It was like perfect. Yeah. Comes up to me and says, hey, can you help me put my swim cap on? I'm like, oh, sure, no problem. And I was like, oh, hey, you want to help me? So
there you go.
Anyway, so it was fine. It was difficult because you have to. I kept going like crooked and sideways, and so I would find my stroke. Actually, after a while, I would do like 6 strokes, nice and easy, and then kind of look up, and then go do 6 strokes. And once I started counting, like once I kind of found a pace and counting and breathing, it was fine. And before you know it, there it was. I'm done. It was over.
Perfect. So
it was great.
Fast
so now
forward.
we're at the games.
It goes just like that, right?
Yes. So at the games, we find out that all of the competitors will be going together.
So this is 35 all the way to 49. So how many people are we looking at?
So we're men's and women's, 35, all the way to 49. So there's about 120 of us at the same time, all at the same time. And we're running a mile and a half. And then we all, a mile and a half, we're all like together. So we go into the water. Anyways, no big deal. I'm this is gonna be fine. So I run and take off my shoes, and here we go into the water.
And how long is this swim?
It's 500 meters.
Okay,
so
in a lake, right?
In a lake.
Okay.
And I just did a 1K, no problem.
This should be no problem.
No problem.
Easy day.
However, the 1K, it was like with like 20 people.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I go right into the water. I'm not scared, I'm not nervous, nothing. So I go right into the water, and I get maybe like 25, 30 meters out, and I just got clobbered. I felt people were on top of me, water was splashing in my face, I was getting kicked and elbowed and kneed and all sorts of things, and I panicked. I freaked out, and I literally thought that I was going to drown. So at one point, as I'm kind of getting, and I'm trying to get myself back into the groove, and then I'd get hit again. And I literally felt like people were on top of me. So within all this chaos, I hear over here a guy calling for help. He's like, help, help. And people behind me are going, yo, over here, because the safety kayak or whatever was on this side of me. So at this point in time, I'm now on my back because I'm just trying to breathe. And I can see the safety kayak just go right across. I don't know, there was people there. They didn't really care. They went right across, obviously, to help the guy. So that kind of calmed down a little bit. But I'm still, I'm at this point deciding if I need help. Because you hear this over here, you have people over here screaming.
Am I drowning right now?
Yes, I felt like I felt like I was going to drown. So now I'm going, if you ask for help, you're out. It's over. Your games are over. And it's the first workout. That's it. So I decided that I was just going to stay on my back and just, I don't know, try. At one point in time, that safety kayak that just went to save that guy was next to me. And I was like, wow. Number one, I thought, wow, I must be doing really bad for this safety guy to be I felt like he was following me.
So it was like a vulture circling around a carcass, so I was about to die?
No, he was just next to me the whole time. But on the other hand, I was like, okay, so you'll be fine, because if you do drown, he's right there.
Okay.
So now you just continue until you feel like you can't continue anymore. That's it. So I was on my back pretty much the entire time. And I wasn't even to the first buoy yet. And there's a buoy over here, and then there's one over there, and then you have to go all the way back. So I'm trying not to think about how much longer I have to go. I do finally pass the buoy, and people are kicking, and they're like, they don't know how to go around the buoy, so they're all like they hit the buoy, and the buoy comes back, and so that was a little bit chaos too. So we go around the buoy, and I'm probably halfway. So now I'm probably maybe 250 meters total into the swim, and I'm just on my back trying to figure out how to like back survive, I guess. And I'm looking up at the sky, and it was cloudy, and the sun was up there, and I was like, okay, you're fine now, you know, you're 20th place, no big deal, you're last. And then I felt more calm, that I was like, now I'm not trying to compete, I'm just trying to survive. I thought I was 20th place, so I was like, can't get any worse than that.
Expectations are out the window.
Yep, everything out the door, fine. It's the first workout, no big deal. We got plenty of time to catch up, but right now you're 20th. And so we finally make it out of the water, and I got out of the water, and there was 2 other girls with me in my division, because our numbers are divisions. Yes, the division.
That number.
Yes. So 2 girls came out of the water, and I said, okay, just, you know, don't let them catch up to you. Look, you're 17th place, you know, you're 18th place, like, don't let them catch up to you. So we went for the run, and it was fine, you know, I was running fine, and there was 2 more girls that I caught, so then I was like, oh, okay, cool, you're 16. I mean, I ended up, I think, 13th or something like that.
I think it was 16.
But yeah, so 2 girls came out of the water with me, and I caught up to 2, so that not only was I scared then, I was scared for the rest of the day. The 1 rep max.
Like a life-changing experience type of scared.
Yes, I mean, I know it's like we're kind of making a joke of it, but it was not. I mean, that snatch, the 1 rep max snatch workout, I was shaky. Like, I was scared for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just that was the day 2 of just kind of sitting around, waiting, not knowing what to expect. And so it was like, after that day, I was like, okay, this is how it's going to be. Yeah. You know, let's do it.
Okay, so we went through the most, could that potentially be one of the most scary times in your life period?
Yes, hands down.
Like, you know, you saw your life flash before your eyes type thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yes. I'm not kidding. Yes, it's going to be very hard for me to get back in the water.
I was going to say, like, what's your plan going forward? Like, you have to do a swim event probably next year. Like, what would you going to plan on doing something to prepare for that? Or are you going to snorkel more? Oh, yeah. Make friends with the manatees? What's the deal?
It's going to be a process.
Yeah. We talked about all the different experiences you had. We talked about all the events that you had. There's a lot of people who are looking out for you. You must have gotten tons of messages on Facebook and emails and text messages. You know, you got this camera, my boy Sean Evans would say. What do you have to say? Like, you have a platform to kind of give a shout out to everybody who gave you all the messages. And I know at the time you're just like, this is so overwhelming, whatever. Like, reflecting back on it now, and if you could send one big message out to all those people, what would it be?
Well, so remember we said that night that it was all over. It was the most I cried, and it was the most I laughed. Mm-hmm. It was overwhelming. That's it. And when I got back, it was pure excitement. Listening to everybody, like where they were watching and who they made watch with them, or they were at their office quietly watching or whatever. It was the excitement I felt listening to everybody tell their stories just gets me so excited that I can do this all over again and do it more openly and more passionately than last year. So now knowing, what it's going to be like, or what, that I can do it, I'm really excited. I can't thank everybody enough. The messages the party. The party was the most fun. It's really, I just can't believe that people are so nice. You know, everybody's so nice and so excited that it just makes me know that I'm in the right place doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now in this moment.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I know this is something personal for you. You know, there are a lot of, you know, I don't want to call them haters, but there's just so many ideas of what a woman should be like nowadays. And now that you've been to the basically pinnacle of fitness at this point, and you've seen the other women there and men there, there's a lot of women in the fitness community who in some ways might be ashamed of who they are, might be looked at weird because they count their calories or they work out and they, you know, do burpees and they sweat and they high five each other. Like in some ways you could be a role model and a spokesperson for the active, healthy lifestyle, healthy in fitness, not in what you eat, but but like
we started with chocolate
I know,
covered
exactly.
Oreos.
That's just the cheat,
But,
guys.
you know, it's moderation.
It's
I mean, come
moderation,
on,
right?
every once in a while.
But yeah, so like, you know, as you know, as a person who a lot of people look toward, you know what I mean? Because we all try to put people up on a pedestal and say we want to be like them. Like, what's your message for those people? Can people be like you? Can they do this too? What do you say to them?
Okay, I'm a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody, you just have to have a passion for it. And you have to allow yourself to have the passion for it. I think for me, it's gotten to a certain point where life kind of takes over, and you know, trying to manage everything, trying to do my best managing everything, but understanding that this weekend or the games, I fell in love with all of this all over again, and 100% more than I did before. I fell in love with our community, in competition, our gym. Like our gym, hands down, I'm in love with everybody and what we're here for and what we do. And I'm gonna allow myself to really fully enjoy all of that. I don't see myself any bigger or better than anyone else. I am these members. I am the same person as them. And I'm just proud to represent them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. I mean, I don't think there's
like,
yeah,
I know
but
where
before
you're going,
Myra
but I'm
starts
not going.
before
I'm not going
Myra
there.
starts sweating or jumps out the window or something like that.
Yeah, we're
I'll
good.
cut her off there. We'll have to save it for another interview. But Myra,
Yeah, I'm not going
thank
there.
you very much for sitting down with us today.
And my coach, I love my coach. He's the best. Okay, can I just say, not only was I...
Flattery will get you everywhere, okay?
Not only did I go through this roller coaster, this one over here.
Like I
man,
said before, I had hair before I started this. Full head.
I put him through more. I think I put him through more than I actually felt like being in the roller coaster. For me, it was just competing, no big deal. For him, it was a lot crazier.
I will say though, you know, I know this is an interview about Myra, so I will shamelessly promote Myra here a little bit. I completely was blown away by her performance. Not only, you know, competing athletically is just one thing, but it is so much more than that. I think you're doing this as an amateur competition. Yeah, there's some prize money and there's some cool accolades that you can probably achieve, but competing like this just exposes and it challenges you. It starts chipping away at the sculpture that you're trying to create. And for me to be even just a participant and to give my 2 cents and have someone trust in me and look to me I'm just so grateful for you to be able to kind of give me that gift. And the maturation of yourself over just this weekend. I mean, I know that you've become so amazing over this last 2-year course, I would say, especially over this last 6 months, as it's always been a juggling, contest almost. But you know, you're just not only a phenomenal athlete, but you're growing phenomenally as a person, even though you're already 30x years into this game. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how much better you can get, not only as an athlete but as a human being. And I know you can absolutely affect and touch so many people, not only in our community but in communities around the world, through your message. And that's just be yourself, and be yourself to 100%. And I wish I could just jump into your body and say that to everybody, but I think that is in itself such an awesome thing, because it makes such a genuine statement, because this person who I'm sitting across from doesn't want this necessarily. I think sometimes you would rather do this in private, but I think that in itself exposes something within you, that challenge that allows you to show your vulnerability to everybody in the world and say, I'm comfortable with this, I'm comfortable with who I am. So this experience has been amazing for me also, even though I might have done this before. This is a life-changing experience for myself as well. So I thank you for allowing me to be on this journey for you.
You did such a good job. I'm telling you, it was awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate that. So
the coaching was beyond my expectations.
Okay. Well, I will. I set the bar pretty high. Yeah. I think next year
I know.
I'm gonna have to learn how to do dry needling and massage.
Yes.
Bring the Normatec out.
That's right.
But
that's right.
yeah. So before we cut this go any further, or want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, Mayra?
Right here, CrossFit Celery Beach, baby.
That's it. Perfect. Thank you.
What am I supposed to say?
No, that was it. That was perfect.
Oh.
Right here, CrossFit Celery Beach, baby.